You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Hi, I'm Mitch.
And I'm Davey.
And we are
the Bargain Bin Gamers. And we choose you.
Go, Pikachu.
And this is the podcast and YouTube show where we put the gay in gaming.
While also looking after your hip pocket.
Except for today. Except for today, we've spent the better part of 12 months mildly lubricating your hip pocket to loosen it up enough so that you can fit the full force of the game that we're reviewing.
Smackdown $109 dues.
That's right. Given all the work that we've done, you know, this game's barely going to touch the sides of your hip pocket because...
Honestly.
Exactly. Because he lives and all that kind of... People don't say that anymore, do they?
I do.
Okay, awesome. That's great.
I do it for you.
That's right. Because I've reached that stage of my life where if I learn something that the kids say, I'll say it for about 5 years.
And usually you hear it when the kids have already stopped saying it.
Yeah.
But
totes.
Totes my goats.
Totes my goats. 6 and 7. 6 or 7?
I don't even know that.
I don't know.
I missed it.
It's a TikTok thing that, yeah.
How do you know?
Because Anthony's a school teacher. He teaches kids that know this shit. Anyway, before we begin, we would just like to give a big shout out to all of the BQN Podcast Network patrons, especially to this show's associate producers,
Sam Johnson and Mei M.
Sam Johnson and Mei M. We just love you to bits.
Just love your guts.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you would like to help keep this and other BQN podcasts coming to you every single week, sign up to be a patron over at patreon.com/BQN.
And for as little as $2 to $5 a month, you get access to early episode releases, exclusive Bargain Bin Gamer Let's Play videos, and Patreon-only podcasts like Davey's Warp Speed Reviews and Amy's Math Moments.
Wow.
Wowzers.
What value?
What incredible value for $2 to $5 Australian dollars a month.
Such value. I had to really hold it in there because my chamomile tea went down the wrong way.
Well, you were dancing. Was that a cry for help?
I
wasn't really
I'll
paying
have
attention.
more chamomile tea just to soothe that itch in
Lubricate
the
the
back.
sides.
Right.
And I'll have my coffee, please.
Yeah, and now something that helps the listeners relate to us each and every single episode. What have you been up to?
Oh my God, my life has been completely and utterly consumed by this game.
This game that
Anyone
we're playing,
who has listened regularly in the last, I'm going to say since we began, knows that I am a Pokémon mega fan.
Get out.
I know, I've never mentioned it.
Shut the front and back door.
I like to keep that knowledge close to my chest and never say anything about it. So I know that it's a bit of a shock to you to know that I'm a big Pokémon fan. But my life has been completely consumed by Pokémon Legends ZA, so I have been literally non-stop playing it. What about you, Davey?
You've done nothing else?
I've lived my life, but in the downtime.
And you did your little calendar.
Oh yes, I've been structuring my life like an adult, so I clean my dishes.
Yeah.
I'm doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, maybe I'll try to do it daily instead of quarterly.
The flies were getting mad at me.
He's getting all corporate talk. All right, moving forward, I'm going to be doing more daily dishes in the dishes space.
Yes, the shareholders, me. But what about you, Davey? Have you been joining me?
He really wants to get off this topic.
I really want to talk about Pokémon and start talking about how my life's a mess.
Look, stuff's been busy. Stuff's been busy. There's the real push towards the end of the year right now, like at work and all that kind of stuff. So busy there. And also plenty of stuff going on at home. The wedding is getting close. Yeah. So we're actually getting ready to send invites out for the wedding.
I'm really ready for mine.
Yeah. I mean, you've kind of You will get another one, but I mean, you already got your "Will you be my best man" kind of thing.
I've already got everything.
Yeah,
I've got the VIP backstage pass.
That's right, all access.
Oh no, I don't think so.
And you got me. Well, by accident, I kind of got into something which you're already into, and It's an anime, which
Yeah.
I was a big anime fan from a while back, but I must admit I've not really kind of dabbled in any of the new stuff.
Mhm.
And we were very fortunate to win tickets to the IMAX Melbourne premiere of Chainsaw Man.
The Bomb Devil arc.
The Bomb Devil arc. And I watched 2 episodes of the TV show.
The anime.
before we actually went and watched it to get up to speed.
Mhm.
But it was fine. I felt like I was able to appreciate the movie just knowing the general premise of the series,
Yes.
which was kind of cool. I've started to really like it.
He's become a fan. He's been reading it.
I've been reading it and watching it at the same time, which is a bit weird because it's kind of the same thing.
The anime adaptation of it is kind of like a manga fan's wet dream because it's being adapted by Mappa, who's like notoriously one of the best.
Okay, yes. Well, good on you, Mappa. Love your work. And I do actually mean that because I think that's one of the things I find really, really cool about it is that it is essentially for teenage boys with the amount of breast fondling discussions that happen in it. It would not get made anywhere else in the world.
God, no. It's so funny, the Japanese lens of like what is and what isn't allowed. Because I know in Japan, like graphic violence and things like that is pretty prohibited in TV and movies. Whereas sexual content is kind of less limited and it's almost flipped.
Graphic violence is prohibited. It's about a man sprouts chainsaws from his heads and his arms and saws them through devils.
Yeah, but they're devils, they're not people.
I literally just watched an episode this morning where he was scrambling around in one person's intestines whilst trying to kill the other devil. But no, the Japanese don't do graphic violence.
Listen, I'm just saying they have different values, which I don't mind. And it's odd as a queer man to read Japanese teenage boy manga where it's like, I really want to touch boobs. I'm like, why? To what end?
I know. And look, you know what? I've known some straight men in my time, and I know they like to do that.
Yes.
But I've never known them to be just quite so hyper-focused on it.
Yes. Well, Denji is a character who doesn't have a lot in his life, so he's got a very limited scope. But as someone who watched the movie, go on, give us a little hot review.
A little hot take.
Yeah.
A little hot take is I actually thought the animation was different in the movie than it is in the anime. In the anime I've been watching on Crunchyroll, not a sponsor.
But if you want to.
But if you want to.
I am a subscriber.
Exactly. We'll call out to at least one big corporate per episode. I thought there was a completely different style to the animation and some of the direction in it. There was the whole, without giving anything away, like the kind of the first 2 acts are very somber and kind of touchy-feely.
Romancy.
And romancy. And then it just goes balls to the wall.
It's very Chainsaw Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting that they decided to make it into a movie because they make, obviously, anime out of the arcs and everything. But I think that allowed them to bring on different anime producers, which meant that they had different kind of artistic flares.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell, not to give too much away, in the latter half, there were certain sequences where the animation changed and it was almost like a little bit more fluid and cartoony and almost like Looney Tunesy, whereas some of it was a little bit more like traditional, and it's obvious that they probably have different people working on different parts, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there was a bit of a mishmash of styles in it where there's a very clear style to the series. But, you know, I was here for it. I appreciate both of it. I think what I really like is actually the humor as teenage boy and gutter trash as it is actually kind of funny.
It is.
Like I found the audience were, some people in that audience were pissing themselves laughing. I'm like, right, settle down.
Settle down, boys.
But I was also the oldest person there, I think.
I also think we were the only people wearing deodorant once again.
Yeah, once. No,
no, they weren't that
bad. But yeah, it was good fun. And yeah, and the series as well is just really good fun to watch because I just love the action sequences. The action sequences are, for an animation, are insanely good.
Yes.
Like, it's hard, I think, to do like real powerful action in that sort of traditional animation, which they've managed to pull off really well. Like, I'm edge of my seat whenever it happens.
Oh,
edge of my seat.
He's edge of seat. Well,
edge of my seat.
They also
fall off.
They also, I believe, weaponize a little bit of 3D animation in there that's very subtle. Weaponize. I've been using that word a lot recently. But I think they use that because it helps with kind of like the fluidity of the fight choreography. I definitely noticed it when I was watching the anime, and there's a bit of contention around whether 3D animation has a space in anime. There's people on either side. I think that it's fine if it doesn't look egregious. I think in Chainsaw Man it looks good.
Yeah, I think it's just used to give a bit of like depth and realism to what you're seeing.
Realism to the guy with a chainsaw for a face. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Mr. The Japanese don't go over like violence or anything like that.
Well, my Chainsaw Man, the Bomb Devil arc rating is 9 out of 10. 9.5 actually. I think it was a perfect adaptation. One of my favorite arcs in Chainsaw Man, by the way. The next one is actually my favorite one. Yeah, I think it was pretty fantastical.
And it's been produced for IMAX as well. So if you can go see it at IMAX, go and do it. As a new fan and as an old school fan of anime, I certainly I think I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Only because I'm new to the franchise, and as we found out on the day, I'm very stuck in my ways of like the anime of the 90s.
He's Evangelion repertoire. The only other thing that I want to...
Cruel Angels Theses.
The Cruel Angels Theses.
Yeah.
Hopefully he submits this to the uni. What's it called? The only thing I want to bring up before we move on is the music in the movie. Really, really good. I've been listening to the theme song, Iris Out, a lot. It's really, really good. But also just like the general like noise, like there's a turning point kind of halfway in the movie where kind of the movie changes from like a romance to like a horror action. And during that sequence, there's just this droning noise and you feel so uneasy. And I was like, wow, this is some good shit.
It's art.
It's art.
Go and
Absolute cinema.
Get some culture.
Get some culture up, yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've come here today to talk about something specifically. We were going to do a double drop and do a little mini review last week of this, but we broke our promise once again.
It's awesome.
Bargain Games at the Movies is coming, I promise. But we broke that promise only because we thought, all right, we need one more week to finish the game and then, be able to come back and give you a full and proper bargain bin review. All right, so we're here and we are giving you our full review and impressions of
Pokemon Legends ZA, or as Fan says, Pokemon Legenza.
Yes. And as we all know, you're a massive Pokemon fan, aren't you?
Oh, I've mentioned it maybe once or twice.
Yeah, and I've been vaguely familiar with its existence. And I'm really looking forward to today. And I've been mentally preparing myself for it because you're a little intense when you talk about Pokemon sometimes.
I don't know what you could possibly be talking about, by the way. I don't know why you think my incredible repertoire of knowledge might be a little overwhelming.
It's really intense and then talks to me like I'm stupid when I don't know something about
might be because you are.
Well, anyway, look, why don't you read the next bit?
Got that out. Okay, so building on the sleeper hit that was Pokemon Legends Arceus, Legends ZA provides a similar fresh alternative to the mainline Pokemon game. Turn-based battles are swapped out for real-time action and strategy.
But unlike Arceus, you are taken out of a massive open world and dumped into Lumiose City, Paris, if it were devoid of all charm and personality. And where people pair curry with croissants.
First of all, I don't approve that message. So rude.
We're going to talk through the game and we're going to give the game individually a score out of 100. And we're going to rank it out of 4 areas: story, gameplay, graphics, sound, and music. And then we'll do Make It Gay at the end. Each of those 4 review areas, we will give respectively a score out of 25, and then you'll get the Davey score and the Mitchie score. And then the Mitchie score. So here we are. It's 2 weeks after release. You have finished the main story.
I have. I've done pretty much all of the side quests as well.
Okay. So this is where we differ. So literally, as Mitch has walked into my home today to record this podcast, I'm up to like the last few battles. I've probably got about 20 minutes worth of game.
Yeah, about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I have not done as many side quests though.
Yeah, I saw his Mabel's research was pretty low. So,
I mean, because they're not. And this is maybe diving not so much into this comes into gameplay, but I will just say right now that I just feel that the side quests aren't that engaging. Most of them are just battles or like, oh my God, can you show me if you have this Pokemon?
We'll get to it. I have points as well.
We'll get to it. How about we talk about the story?
Well, I'll talk about the story because I finished it if you'd like. So The main
maybe mild spoilers.
Yes.
Mild spoilers.
Mild spoilers. I will try not to mention the end of the game because obviously Davey hasn't played it, but right up until the final mission, I will discuss in detail. Be prepared for such a thing. Listeners and viewers, you have been warned.
Yes, that's right. You might have spoiled about a story that has absolutely no vocal dialogue and was written for 7-year-olds.
Are you a hater? Are you going to be a hater on the pod today? You're in bad company.
I have been doing nothing but playing this game for the last 2 weeks myself, but I will be a cheeky bitch about it.
That's all right. Pokemon deserves a criticism. They are a billion-dollar company. So the main story puts you in Lumio City, which is based on Paris. Now, I was a little bit stressed about the city location, but I actually think it kind of worked out well. But the main plot is that there is rogue mega evolutions popping up, endangering the citizens. And there's also something called the ZA Royale, which is kind of like the sub-in for like the Pokemon League in a normal game, where you start at rank Z and you're trying to work your way all the way up to rank A by doing battles and taking on like the champions of each rank, some would say. I would say the story kind of interweaves between both. Like you battle the rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon and then you move on to your little ZA Royale thing. You meet a fun new quirky little Pokemon character and then you kind of rinse and repeat. How did you find it? How did you find the gameplay loop?
Well, we're not talking about gameplay. We're talking about story.
Oh, the story loop. My deepest apologies. How did you find the story so far?
It's superfluous to me. It is. Come on. Who picks up a Pokemon game for the story?
Pokemon has some pretty good stories, but
sure.
We're actually going to get into a fist fight on this podcast.
I know. Look, Pokemon is... Look, yes, I know that each one has a story. There's always kind of some kind of little evil going on underneath where with absolutely zero urgency to resolve it because everyone's always nicking off for a croissant and a curry every 5 seconds. Look, I've vaguely followed the story. I think that the characters are kind of cute, but are really lacking in any personality, as I've mentioned already, just because of there's no voice acting still. They don't even make any noises or anything like that. I feel that just means that the story just falls really flat for me because I hate constantly clicking through the text whilst they're just moving their mouths.
They're just fake lip syncing.
I know. I mean, my character will occasionally go like when I jump up on something, but other than that, don't do anything. But look, it's fine. I did find myself kind of liking the characters a little bit, even though they're kind of awkward and weird.
Did you have a favorite?
Me. Penelope Poleduster.
The most boring character in the game.
Yeah. But yes, I was Penelope Poleduster as always. Or Penelope PD because I couldn't actually fit the whole thing in. But yeah, look, throw it out there to the viewers and the listeners. Let us know in the comments. Do you play Pokemon for the story?
I personally think the story was pretty good. I finished it. So
was there a theme? Was there an important social message?
The important social message, I guess, is, I don't know, like learning how to share space with people in Pokemon.
Isn't that what they're all about?
Not really. Well, this is in a city. It's not out in the wild.
Oh, but isn't that what Detective Pikachu was about, the movie?
I don't know. I didn't really like that movie.
I loved that movie.
We have very different taste parameters.
When it comes to Pokemon.
In terms of the story, obviously you haven't finished it, but at the end, it's kind of like an anime finish. It's probably the most anime game I've ever played in the Pokemon series. It's very stylish at the end. It's kind of got like a slightly bittersweet ending as well, which I thought was really cute. I don't mind there being no dialogue. I personally think they need it.
Well, because there's dialogue, there's not any voice acting.
Voice acting, I mean. I think a couple games ago during Sword and Shield, when they made a rocker character and his whole thing was that he sung and they didn't put voice acting in, was kind of a bad idea. I think it should have started from there. But anyway, even if they just do the Breath of the Wild thing, I think we've mentioned that before, where they go like, huh?
Yeah,
oh?
I wouldn't mind that. Because for me, it just makes those story segments tedious.
Yes, you're just mashing A
click,
to get
click,
through.
Click, 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 because I just want to battle me some Pokemon.
Yes, I did find the long stretches to be a little bit tough. The story itself, though, I thought was really, really good. I liked all of the characters introduced. I think they all had great charm.
What did you like about it?
The story or the people?
The story.
I thought the story...
What was really good about it?
I thought the story was pretty tight. It didn't really waste any time. If I wanted to waste time, I could have gone and played the side missions, but it really paced itself along. There was a section in the game where you kind of skip over quite a few ranks, and I was like, oh, is this supposed to happen? Fun fact, yes, it is. Don't worry. There's plenty to do afterwards. I just found the story to be very tight. There was no like faffing about. You introduce yourself to all the characters straight away. You kind of get to know a bit about them. And they're like, cool, let's go do megas. Megas are done? Okay, cool. Go do your little championship fight. Oh, cool, they're done. Oh, introduce a new character. Go do the megas. Like it was kind of just like.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Clipped along.
I'll give you that. It definitely had a decent amount of pace to it.
Yes. Especially compared to some of the other games. Like even Scarlet and Violet, I found kind of fucking dragged for a bit. And I was like, oh my God, get me to the action. But this was like rogue megas, go to the battle zone, get your freaking ticket, fight. Like it was very like.
Yes, I have heard of people say that this is a game which is probably less about story and more about battling.
Yes, it very much is.
Yeah. Because like if you were to ask me right now, what's the story about? I'd be like, some people live in a hotel with a creepy old guy who has a flower.
Creepy.
And that flower is going to save the world.
Well, you don't have any backstory to the game, do you? Because you haven't played the original games.
I've told you before, I played the original Pokemon, like first gen.
But you haven't played X and Y.
Before you were alive.
Well, that's your issue, not mine.
Okay.
But Pokemon X and Y, you haven't played those, have you?
Probably not, no.
Well,
no, Pokemon X and Y, they were on Switch, yeah? They were the first?
Nope.
Okay, then no.
Well, these games are kind of like a sequel to those games. Because originally what happened was Pokemon X and Y came out 2013, question mark. I was there for the midnight release. I skipped school. And they were supposed to make a Pokemon Legend Z, but then that never happened. And then they moved on to the next generation. So this game is kind of like a reference to the fact that we're going to make that game. And it's got a lot of connective tissue. So the guy who runs the hotel is in the original games and he's got a lot of backstory.
And he's 3,000 years old.
Sure is.
By the way.
Yeah.
That doesn't get explained.
Well, it was explained in the original.
Oh, well, excuse me. This is the part where he starts talking to me like I'm an idiot.
Well, he's the one who doesn't done his research, okay? I think the story was pretty good for a Pokemon game. I just want to preface, by the way, when I say pretty good, I'm saying by Pokemon standards. This is not, this is not a life-changing game. This is a game for children. And I am almost 30 and I've been playing it almost my whole life. So to me, very good is on the sliding scale of the shittest Pokemon game you've played to the best, which for me is Pokemon Emerald.
All right.
It falls on that scale. So when I say pretty good, I mean by Pokemon standards.
All right. So what do you give the story out of 25?
Out of 25, I'm going to give it a 19.
19, okay.
I'm pretty happy with that. There was some tweaks that I think could have been made. I think some storylines could have been punchier and maybe a little bit more exciting. I did find by the end of the game, I was ready for the repetitive loop to kind of come to a crescendo, which thank God it did. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. What about you?
10.
Care to elaborate?
As I said before, it's superfluous. It's background noise. It's the thing that's in between me getting some animals to have fights with each other.
Let me get my animals and make them dog fight.
That's right. Yeah. That's
Big
right.
shout out though to my favorite character, Naveen. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah,
he was very funny. I liked his little weird, vaguely autistic weight about his life, which I thought was quite cute. He had a cute backstory about how he was raised kind of fancy and he doesn't like to waste food and he's very cool. I don't know. I just thought he was really cool.
I liked the streamer girl.
Oh, Kanari.
She's
very cool.
Yeah. I was like, that was kind of topical and fun. I enjoyed that little element of it.
I liked that when you beat her, she started swearing.
Yes. She did, didn't she? Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of Corbo. Big fan.
Yeah. Okay.
He was kind of sexy and about this big. Loved it.
Was he?
He was the poison guy.
That's right, because there was all these little factions. There's always these little factions.
Yes,
There's
Pokemon loves a faction.
Yeah, like the red velvet cupcakes and the...
Are you talking about the Fists of Justice?
The Fist of Justice. And the tin lids.
The Rust Syndicate?
The Rust Syndicate.
Did you play the game?
Forever known as the red velvet cupcakes.
Ah, yes, the red velvet cupcakes.
Do you know what the Tin Lids is?
No.
The Tin Lids in the 90s was a band formed by Jimmy Barnes's kids. And they released a Christmas album that I was obsessed with.
It just goes to show the taste level, by the way, everyone. He doesn't like this, but he'll listen to the Tin Kids or whatever it's called.
The Tin Lids.
Whatever.
Yeah,
who cares?
Yeah. We're all grown up now. All right. So that's a 10 for me and a 19 for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pivot into, I think, the most important part of any Pokemon game or any game for that matter. Gameplay. Talk about the gameplay.
Go on, you can start this one.
Yeah, okay. So,
Mr. Negative.
I enjoyed it. 25 out of 25.
You heard it here first.
Okay, so this, and I have played most of the Pokemon games, like mainstream Pokemon games, including Legends Arceus, which
I like how you're saying it like arse.
Arceus.
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 Keep saying arse though. It's quite funny.
Thank you. So yeah, I've played most, like in the Switch generation, I played quite a few of the DS ones as well. Plus, I mentioned I played all the originals back on the original Game Boy. And obviously, this is all very different. You've got this, you're in this very enclosed space, you're in this city, and instead of being on a mission to become the Pokemon champion of whatever region, you're just looking to basically win some tournament within that city and get your ranking from ranking Z to ranking A along the way. So instead of having big open fields in between towns to fight Pokemon or find wild Pokemon are existing in the city in wild zones, which rank up in level, which mean they get harder, and there's only specific Pokemon in each wild zone, and more wild zones appear as the game goes along. And that is intermixed with a day-night cycle where you dive into these battles to get points.
The ZA Royale.
The ZA Royale, where you get your points to go and get a ticket. So I'm just trying to break it down. I played the game, all right, I promise. Get a ticket, little ticket, and then you go and fight someone who's the same rank as you to promote yourself to the next rank, and then side missions and hopping around and all that kind of stuff.
That was very good.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it in a nutshell. I think all of that aside, all right, so all of that's fine. I think the biggest thing to talk about, though, is the battle system.
Yes.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. I think this is the best battling in Pokemon ever.
I have to agree. I have a couple.
Thank God.
I have a couple gripes with it, but I do agree. I think this is the freshest a Pokemon game has felt in a very, very long time. And the thing with Pokemon is they don't do fresh. That's not their thing.
No.
They stick to their little, they've got their bowling ring with their little guards up, and they stick to that. They just do what they always do. So to have them really, for lack of a better phrase, switch it up.
No pun intended.
Maybe a little. I thought it was, I think it was a complete game changer.
Yeah. So to move from the very traditional turn-based style, which we've had forever in Pokemon, even in the 3D ones, where they don't actually do anything to each other when they battle. They just kind of jump at the screen, and it's like, use slash, and then you see some scratch marks come on the screen. Oh, I guess I just used slash. To this real-time view where everything's very dynamic, you're battling at the same time. There's cooldowns and all that kind of stuff for all your different moves, and even to like use potions and all that kind of stuff. So you can't just, sit there spamming the same attack over and over and over and over and over again. So there's plenty of strategy around it. For me, I just found this to be a far more exciting way to do Pokemon battles, because I was so having to think on my feet. Turn-based battles, I mean, you got to think on your feet a little bit, but you're just kind of thinking next move ahead, next move ahead, next move ahead.
Yes.
Which don't be me wrong, like I'm a child of the 90s, JRPGs and turn-based battling is more or less what I grew up in strategy games. But, we've kind of moved past it a bit, I think.
Yeah, I think this is maybe going to be a bit of a hot take. Ooh. I do think that Pokemon is attempting to wean everyone off the standard JRPG style of battling, and I think that's why they're possibly going to make Pokemon Champions. So Pokemon Champions is a game that's coming up that they're going to be using to basically host tournaments, and it's all the turn-based, and it's got a lot of the old mechanics returning. I think that's what they're going to try and keep it with, and I think they're going to try and do like almost like a hybrid style. The next game is probably going to be a little bit more like this. To be completely transparent with you, I think this is a really fantastic way to give a facelift basically to the Pokemon game. There are a few caveats that I have with it though. First, one of my favorite things about Pokemon is their abilities. It makes them very unique, it makes them very dynamic, it can make and break certain Pokemon. This game doesn't have abilities because some of them would be way too hard to code into a real-time game. I think that makes some of the Pokemon lose their uniqueness. So a good example, I've provided examples. There are some Pokemon that have the ability Levitate. That means they can't be hit by ground type attacks.
Right.
Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Canary, her ace is supposed to be one of those Pokemon.
Right.
It's an electric type. It's supposed to have no weaknesses because it levitates. That doesn't happen in this game. And I could just press Earthquake with my extra drill and it dies immediately. So some of these Pokemon lose the charm of what makes them because of that loss.
Which I guess could take some of the strategy out of it. Because I guess now you're only just doing, all right, that's a water Pokemon, so I'm going to use whatever kills water Pokemon.
Correct. This game is a little bit less strategy and a little more beat them over the head until they die. And I found that when I was playing the game, that your Pokemon, because of their speed stat, means that they can, react quicker and they can do this and do that. My Pokemon would die a lot more often, which meant I used my whole team. But it was kind of me just bludgeoning the other Pokemon to death and not really using any strategy. Most of my Pokemon didn't even have status moves on their kit. I was like, it's useless. I just want all of the attacks because then I can get through them quicker.
Okay. I didn't find myself... I mean, there are battles where it does feel like you're in that sort of like panic to spam, especially when you do the rogue mega evolves. Like that was more for me in that the strategy was more learning the move set of who you're fighting and when they're going to do it. And more like any typical boss battle in any action adventure game. Yeah. So there was a little bit of strategy in there for me. I guess I can see what you're saying. It does feel like that at times it's very just like, just attack until you get through. But
it just loses some of its like the strategy really. Because it's real time, there's less time for strategy. I can't sit there and set up my Pokemon and do XYZ. Like it's all about like, how do I get this attack off? How long until the cooldown is? How should I heal them? So like a good example is probably my MVP Pokemon, Florges. Love you, by the way. She's very gay. Because she had health absorbing moves, she was basically like a tank. She couldn't be beaten because I was doing damage and healing at the same time. There was no way to like set up or anything like that. She just kind of ate everything people gave to her because she could just heal it off. So it kind of was... It was just a different way to play. And this is why I'm hesitant to say they're going to do this always moving forward because it kind of takes away from the game. But I think there's a middle ground that they could meet. At least I hope so. But also some of the other things like, well, the abilities, of course, but in Legends Arceus, they had the status of Frostbite, which I thought was really, really good. That's now back. It's back to just being frozen again, and I don't really like that. So, and like weather doesn't really exist in this game very well, and like, I don't know. I'm pulling at straws now, but.
Okay. But despite you saying it the freshest it's ever feel, that comes with caveats, quite a few heavy ones, by the way. But do you feel that it's moving in a good direction? Do you want to see it continue to go this way?
100%. I do think that this is the right direction for the game for a few reasons. One, the turn-based version I think is better for things like tournaments and like competitive Pokemon because it has the higher skill ceiling. I think for like an everyday game, this might be a little bit better. It makes the world feel a bit more alive and dynamic. I also want to bring up that I think the Mega Evolution battles are incredible and I hope they stay.
They were fun.
I think that is literally the perfect way to do a boss battle. If you think about Scarlet and Violet, like with the Titans, they were so shit. No offense. I mean, actually kind of offense. I don't really like those games. But they were so bad because they were a bit clunky and they didn't really like have the love put into them. This version, every single Pokemon, completely different battle. They have their own area of effects. They have their own attacks. You can Mega Evolve and battle them. I think that was chef's kiss. I think it's the most perfect part of the game.
Yeah, and it was real like on your toes kind of stuff. Right down even when there's like only the tiniest little bit of health left on the Mega Evolved Pokemon that you're fighting. Like I'd still be like, oh my god, I could be dead in a second.
Yeah.
Which brings me to something else, which I don't know if I've seen this before in a Pokemon game. You probably have, but you as a human being can take damage in the Pokemon battles as well.
They had that in Legends Arceus.
Okay.
But I think that is a fantastic addition and I hope it stays.
It makes it so much more tense.
So much better.
Oh my god, because you can die way more easily than your Pokemon can.
Oh yeah. Okay. I also like that in the game, Pokemon, especially Pokemon like Alpha Pokemon, which are like those ones with the glowing red eyes, they will instinctively attack you first, even if you send a Pokemon out. It's like, no, I'm going to fucking rush you. And I think that's really cool. I also enjoy that they've kept kind of like the hiding and throwing the Pokeball dick from Legends Arceus.
Yeah, I like that.
I really like that.
Sneak up to get an advantage. Yeah.
Yes, I really like that. I hope that stays forever. It's one of my favorite mechanics. But yeah, I do agree that the health bar on the person adds an extra stake to it, which makes the boss battle seem like more exciting.
So which did you prefer? Did you prefer the big open world of Arceus?
There we go.
Or do you like Legends ZA, the more what's the right word?
Sequestered.
Claustrophobic. Because Lumios City's not that big.
It's not that big. Darling friend Stuart, friend of the pod, friend outside of the pod too. He was like, you can run from one side of the city to the other in 1 minute and 9 seconds. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I actually prefer this. I have a hot take.
Another one.
I have lots of them. I think moving forward, these big open worlds, yeah, that's fine. They need to make it so that the cities are their own loaded screen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have these big cities trying to compete with like being in the open world. The open world is supposed to be vast. It's supposed to have nothing in it. That's fine. Just fill it with Pokemon, put some water in it. Who cares? When you get to a city, it should load the game and make a big city like this.
Mm-hmm.
Every city should feel like this. Maybe on a smaller scale, of course, but there's so much to do. So many people to talk to. There's so many funny little, I don't know if you're not on Twitter, but there's always funny little things that people are saying and like all these weird little things. And like, I just think it's really fun.
Yeah. People post those things on places other than Twitter, by the way.
Well, I don't know where they are. So I go on Twitter.
I don't need to talk to you. I don't know if I would agree that there's so much to do.
I think comparatively. Don't forget, I'm talking solely about Pokemon.
Because, I mean, it's pretty, again, I mean, yeah, the people say some funny stuff in the city when you go around and talk to them. And yeah, they might give you a side mission or two. But overall, I found the city itself felt a little lifeless.
I see that.
Yeah, like, I mean, and they do say some funny stuff. Like I walked up to someone the other day and they're just like, oh, wow, so many Pokemon. There's Pokemon droppings. Who's going to pick it all up? And I'm like, like the real Paris. Actually, no, I've been to Paris. I didn't see one dog shit anywhere.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, and just, I mean, we'll get to the way the city visually looks in a second, because I think that's a whole different thing too. I did find that the more I explored the city, the more I kind of found engaged by it, because there are secrets, there are nooks and crannies, and you know, you get different moves over time that help you explore. Like when you can do
that. Thank you for bringing it up.
The roto glide or whatever it is, the roto glide, which, mind you, when you get the ability where you can do a little glide over, you know, two buildings from two different rooftops. I was expecting I would have some kind of quest or some kind of move I had to get to be able to do that. Instead, it's just like, oh, here, you can do this now.
We gave you an upgrade.
Yeah, we gave you an upgrade. So once I got that, I started exploring the rooftops a lot more, and that's when I was like, oh, wow, there's more Pokemon up here to find.
Yes.
And, you know, there's lots more interesting items, and it gave it a bit of verticality, I guess, apart from just running around Lumios Pop-In City.
Yes. Well, two things on that. The first one that I wanted to bring up is I do think they had a little bit of a missed opportunity to do like the catacombs underneath Paris. I know there was like
there's
sewer,
sewers, yeah.
but the sewers were a little bit bland to me. They looked fantastic because they were just a couple hallways, but the Pokemon options that were down there were pretty limited, and of course it was kind of all the same. I wish that there was a little bit more verticality downwards again as well, because if you're just going to do the city, that's fine. But you mentioned that the rooftops were kind of exciting. There was different Pokemon you could see up there and stuff like that. I wish there was a little bit more to do under as well.
Yeah, like Tears of the Kingdom style.
Yeah. Could have had like spooky ghost Pokemon down there and stuff like that. The other thing that I wanted to bring up about the gameplay before we move on is the destructible environment things.
There was a few of them, I guess.
They are a reference to back in the day. You probably know HMs, hidden machines.
Yeah, yep.
So in the previous games, they use that to like gatekeep, like where you could go.
Yeah. You nowadays, get your rock smash and all that. Yeah.
Nowadays, they've got like the rocks that you can smash. You've got those sludge things that you can psychic away. You've got water that you can cross by freezing it. I thought that was really, really fantastic, and I hope to see that again as well. Because instead of it being like a gym badge thing, it's catch lots of different Pokemon, because then they can help you traverse the world. I think that's how it should be.
I think, and maybe backtracking a little bit on some of my earlier comments, but maybe Lumios City, I think its charm and personality and character tends to reveal itself to you a little bit more subtly. And you've kind of got to be willing to just explore a little bit. It's not the best it could be. It's far from perfect. I think it could have. And for many different reasons, it could have been a lot better. It could have been such a much more fun and interesting and dynamic game world and sandpit in which to play in. But I feel like this is almost like a prototype for Game Freak in gameplay design.
That's kind of how all their games are, though.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
Time to grow up, guys.
I wasn't planning on seeing like a Cyberpunk. Like I wasn't expecting like a GTA, but I also wasn't expecting it to be as... Actually, technically, it did kind of blow my expectations out of the water because I expect so little. There probably could have been a bit more to do. I thought some of the side quests were really charming. Big shout out to the Starmie one where you join a cult. Very funny. The Avalug one where they get to have their little babies on the back. Very cute. And the Spupa one where you go to the museum. Very funny. I don't know if you've done.
I've not done any of them.
So maybe that's why the city seems a little bit lifeless. But, but there are very, very cute ones. And I think this is the most expressive Pokemon have ever felt. Pokemon have lots of personality in this game. A lot of them have brand new animations that they have not had for 10 to 15 years, which I think is incredible. I think the focus on the Pokemon compared to it being on the city is why the city doesn't look as flash, because I think the Pokemon look phenomenal. So.
Okay. All right, let's get down to scoring. So gameplay, it's an important one. Out of 25, what do you give it? I'm
giving it a 22.
22?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will give it
5.
Hey?
I don't know.
I'm going to give it a 20.
Oh,
I'm going to give it a 20. No, I think gameplay is where this game really shines. I think you've got to give it a bit of a chance to unveil itself to you. But I could have easily have given this a 25, but I just think that there's just a lot of missed opportunities to be a little bit more adventurous and do a lot more and just make this a place that I want to lose myself in for weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months. As it is, I mean, I'm about 20 minutes away from finishing the story, and I don't know if I'll have a lot of motivation to come back and finish stuff off, to be honest. But anyway.
Here we go.
Mitchell, what did you think of the graphic?
Okay, so prefacing this that I'm solely objectively talking about Pokemon games.
And also prefacing this with the fact we have played the Switch 2 version.
This is the Switch 2 version. I thought the graphics were passable. Now, am I not happy that some of the windows are just JPEGs? Yes. Do I think the Pokemon look the best they've ever looked? Yes. Do I think the player models...
That's not saying much.
Do I think the player models are expressive and fun and silly? Yes. Do I think that there was some pop-in? Yes. I think...
Was there some pop-in? Yes.
I think the graphics were about as I expected from Pokemon, which is to say not the best, especially for the Switch 2, for reference. This is a console that can play Cyberpunk
and Star Wars Outlaws.
And Star Wars Outlaws, which are, AAA, like made for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever the fuck it is. Game Freak, unfortunately, does not know how to make good games. I think that is the crux of it. I think maybe they don't have the team or they don't have the expertise or whatever.
Something about their game engine is just not.
Something about their game design. They just have like even the models are still quite stiff when they turn. And obviously they still have their fun little expressions. But at the end of the day, the rigging is a bit funny. Because it's in a city, it's a lot of flat corridors. Like they still look good, but they're kind of just JPEG stretched over a box. And
like the buildings don't have any texture to them.
No.
There's literally just cubes everywhere.
For reference, the important buildings do, like the professor's lab and things like that. But the general population city.
Yeah, which again adds to the soullessness of it to me.
Yes. Well, like I said, I find the Pokemon to be the soul of the game. I think Lumiose is just the backdrop. But yes, I do think the graphics as a Pokemon game were as I expected, which is by gaming standards pretty low. What about you?
Yeah, look, I don't need it to look spectacular.
I don't need realism. I don't play Pokemon for realism.
I would like some more style and substance to it though.
Yeah.
Because you are right. Even if we are dealing with a game that started its development life cycle on the first Switch, the first Switch was still capable of more than what Game Freak achieved on those consoles.
Well, I keep saying it, and I will say it till I'm dead. Breath of the Wild came out in 2015. It was a launch title for the Switch. It looks better than this game still. But listen, not by much.
It had so much more going on in it.
So much more going on about it. Obviously, they have cell shading, which makes it a little bit easier to animate. In this game, the Pokemon have textures and the people have good lighting and the colors are really saturated, which is great. But it's still like chalk and cheese where Breath of the Wild, you can pick it back up and be like, wow, what a game. The graphics are not holding it back. In this game, I think the graphics do hold it back a little bit.
I think that it's something about the game as a whole package and Lumiose City as a place you want to stay and have fun in is just that blandness of it. And I just feel like on the Switch too, I should not be seeing this much pop in and so many blurry textures. I even had a thought today when I'm standing on top of the building and you can kind of just see the city outside the city in the background. There's like some rolling hills and some trees. I'm like, oh my God, that looks like something you'd see on the Nintendo 64.
Yes. And for reference, this was a console mover for me. I bought the Nintendo Switch 2 so I could play this game. So for me, who spent $750 plus $109, it's not $800 and something experience, in my opinion. Now, do I think the Pokemon look better than they ever have? Yes. Do I think the moves look fantastic? The animation for all the moves are very clean and crisp? Yes. Unfortunately, though, some of the textures do suck ass.
Most of them suck ass. Although, like you said, the important places oddly looked like we went into the sewer for the first time. We're like, oh, this actually looks, there's some great lighting effects. There's like you can actually like the stones actually had like texture to them and cobbled. And there was like water reflections.
Yes.
And here's the thing: there are some actual interesting and nice graphical effects in it. For example, when you're in Lumiose City, if you see like a pond or a lake or something like that, there is perfect reflection of the skyline happening in the water.
They can do it.
That's usually that can usually cause like a bit of system slowdown, and it's still running really, really well on the Switch too. I guess I would probably just wrap that up and hope that maybe when they make their next Pokemon game and they make it natively for the Switch 2, they might step things up a little bit.
Yes. Well, listen, I'm a Pokemon defender, but I'm going to say this in good faith. I'm just saying it in good faith. I think the issues with these games graphically come down to the consumerist need to have a Pokemon game every couple years.
True.
I think if they...
Makes a lot of money.
Unfortunately, Pokemon is the highest grossing multimedia franchise in the world, and there is an expectation in order for them to make games on a constant loop. Now, a little while ago, they were putting out a game every year. They have now changed that to every 2 years, roughly. Obviously, we're getting things like DLC for this game, but, that's still the same game.
It's like $40, by the way.
I will be paying. But the thing is that because of that cycle, I think that Game Freak, unfortunately, has to cut corners when it comes to graphical fidelity because they just can't do it. They won't have the game out in time. And I think there needs to be a consensus where obviously they do care because there's so much love in this game compared to the reality of living under a late stage capitalist society where we have to have these games out.
Wow. we went in a late stage capitalism, people.
Because the reality of the situation is it is a company and they need to make money. So they can't sit there and make a game for 5 years and have it released because they could double that money by releasing 2 games.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I hope they do. I hope for one day they are like, we're going to make the world's best Pokemon game. Give us 5 years.
Yeah. But you can split development teams to work on different projects and have a longer development cycle. But anyway, graphics. What do you give it out of 25?
Yeah, I'll give it a 15.
15.
The landscapes let it down, but I think the character models and the Pokemon look fantastic.
I will give it a 15. as well.
Oh, look at us, consensus.
Yeah, because again, I don't want to. Actually, I put up a reel about like the graphics, and someone was just like, "What a stupid thing to be upset about! You idiots all want things just to look like virtual reality." I'm like, look at the rest of our channel, you whoever you are,
you nuffy, you silly nuff. That's what your mum would call.
All right, let's move because we need to move through the last few bits. So. Sound, music. Okay, no talking, and that really, really hurts it. But what about the rest of the music? You get some lovely little melodic loops. They're inoffensive.
I'm going to say this about Pokemon, and I have always said this about Pokemon. They make some of the best music in gaming, period. End of story. I think some of their music that they make is so
I've clearly
good.
read a different story, but
I genuinely, there are some Pokemon themes, like in Generation 5, the Elite Four. It's actually one of my favorite songs of all time. I think it's amazing. I think they make really great character-focused songs. So when you battle, like one of the ZA rank leaders, they have their own unique music that kind of ties into their character and personality. Corbo's is kind of like a little grungy and a little naughty, and then Jacinthe, because she's like that weird little fairy girl. It's very like boop, 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 boop.
True. Yeah. It's that very, kiddie Disney sort of 100%. Style where, I mean, when we talked to Matt Frequencies, he talked about how different music in video games, music tells a story. And when you've got a game like this where you have characters who don't talk and their personality all has to come through that sound and the music, their theme music that accompanies them.
Yeah.
Something I was going to ask you about your thoughts on is the sounds that the Pokemon make.
Love it. Love them.
why do we still have to use the same 8-bit, 16-bit sounds? Why can't they sound like normal creatures?
Why would you want them to sound like real creatures?
I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's time.
Well, Pokemon have always had their cries. I appreciate that they've stuck so severely to like the old school, like, because back, okay, so I'll give you a reference. Here you go. Pikachu has always made his funny little like whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then they changed it in, can't remember, I think it was Sword and Shield. They changed it to be the actress from the anime, Pikapi.
Okay.
And I thought that was a bad choice.
Okay.
And then they've changed it back now in this game.
I don't know if it needs to be someone like in the cartoons running around going, Pikachu and Charmander, Bulbasaur, but like, I just think like it would, I don't know. I personally, I was just sort of like, okay, nostalgia, I think, could be part of what is holding this franchise back in some areas.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just sort of like, it would just be nice if they had some, if they had like a real guttural kind of roar to them when I let out this big mega evolved Pokemon of mine. Or, they made like, I would just think it would be nice to move away from the old 8-bit, 16-bit little chiptunes noises.
It's fun. We're clipping that. I think it's cute. I think these are funny little monsters, and I think they should make funny little noises. And I like their funny little noises.
Yeah.
But as the Pokemon come out, they get more updated sounds. Like the newest generation of Pokemon, Gen 9, they all have no 8-bit noises. They make like funny little noises too. But just the OG, like Gen 1 ones, they keep their original cry.
Okay.
I like it.
I haven't noticed. I feel like they also the same.
I think preserving history is very important in gaming.
Sure. So what do you give sound and music out of 25?
Honestly, it's Pokemon. They always do amazing sound. I'm going to give them a 23. I take that down to a 20 because I would have liked voice acting, but I didn't think it was necessary. But
okay, all right, I'll give it a 15.
Nice, I like that.
I'll give it a 15. All right, so we don't give a score for the next bit, so let's add up our scores here, right? So I've given a 30, 40, 50, 60 out of 100.
Wow.
But I actually really liked it.
Scathing.
Oh, and you've given all fucking weird numbers, so I have to add them all up really weirdly. So
well, he does math.
So
I'm going to sit here and look like I know math.
So you gave it 20, 40, 42, 47, and then 27.
Would you like me to get the calculator out?
Yeah, get a calculator out.
Okay, go on.
So 19.
Oh, hang on. 19, yeah.
Plus 22. Plus 15. Plus 20. 76.
Got the boys.
There we go.
I reckon that's accurate if I'm going to be honest.
So 76, which is good because we're getting kind of like 8 out of 10s in most places.
And I think it's well deserved. I'm just going to preface this before we move on to our next topic. I do think this is my third favorite Pokemon game of all time.
Okay, good deal.
After having finished the game and having played it, it goes Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, Pokemon Legends EA. They are my top 3 favorites, which I was surprised about. I wasn't expecting this game to be so charming and have so much like character and soul. And I really appreciate that it did.
Yeah, I did not expect to get as addicted to it as I have been. Like I'm literally in that mode where I've been taking the Switch 2 on the train. I'm the 41-year-old man playing Pokemon on the train.
The 41-year-old man on the train.
Because I just want to play it.
It is very fun.
Yeah, it's got that. And here's the thing, like you can make all the criticisms about graphics and all that kind of stuff that you want, but at the end of the day, Pokemon's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, and this is what Nintendo does well with Game Freak with Pokemon is they just make games that people want to play.
Yes.
I think that what we're probably seeing here is a departure from some of the interesting choices that have made Pokemon fans have a hard relationship with the franchise during the Switch 1 era. And hopefully when they start actually making games specifically for the Switch 2, we're going to start to see, I reckon we're going to start to see a little bit more polish. And I think we're going to hopefully see some of these ideas expanded into hopefully what will be one of just, the Pokemon game.
I'm excited
for a generation.
The Pokemon game. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for it in my lifetime. Hopefully not by the time I'm dead.
All right. So make it gay. Gay. This game is gay as fuck.
It is really gay. Pokemon kind of always is though.
This is I mean, right down to I don't even think I specifically picked a gender at the start of the game. I picked like a character model.
Well, it actually doesn't ask what your gender is.
No, it doesn't. The Pokemon still have genders, but that's okay. They're allowed to have genders if they want.
Some don't have genders, though.
Yeah. But just in general, there was something queer-coded about this game.
Oh, yeah.
And like from stuff like that to the way the characters looked, to the way they talked, to the fashion, because we didn't even touch on the fashion in the game,
which was fantastic.
Which was actually fantastic.
I wish they had more, if I'm honest.
Because any long-time listeners of the pod will know, I always aim to make my character a bookish lesbian named Penelope Poleduster.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, were there some bookish lesbian outfits ready for me.
Boy, were they.
Yeah.
Yes, I do think so. I think Pokemon is notoriously very queer-coded, even if they're not very objectively. First of all, I will give Game Freak their flowers, and I always will. Possibly the most inclusive multimedia franchise ever. They have people of color. They have elderly people. They have people experiencing disability. Probably not to the extent that I would really like, but they definitely do. And they have queer representation, even if it isn't outright stated. A good reference to that is Jacinthe and her little maid dragon girlfriend, Lebane.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, their relationship is not very good, and I do not recommend any of our listeners or viewers to go into a sub-dom relationship.
Oh,
like
no.
I mean, if you want to.
The only consensual adult dub-som relationships are perfectly fine. We do not
wasn't.
Kink shame on this program, Mitchell.
Well, I sure as hell don't.
Yeah.
But this one was not consensual because she beat her in a Pokemon battle, so apparently that gives you the right to own a person.
I know. I love it. Yeah, a Pokemon battle can just solve anything, by the way. It's like there's this massive decision that needs to be made or this information you need from me.
Battle me
in a Pokemon battle.
Yes. But
anyway, yeah, going back to the queer characters.
Well, they were both women, and they had a fairly obvious like sapphic interaction. You've got the fact that you can wear any gender of clothing. You can wear any type of makeup style. Now, I haven't played as a female presenting person, but when I was playing with my male character, they offer you skirts, which are skirts with shorts.
Yes,
as a girl,
so
are they skirts or are they still skirts?
Jeez, I don't know.
You're the one who played as a girl.
I can't remember.
Well,
I think they were just skirts, yeah.
You still have the option. There's no gendered clothing, which I think is fantastic. And then, I think just in general, it's super cool.
And even the way they spoke, right? Like, so like, I'll spill the tea and stuff like that. Yeah. As you said in your one of the 50 million stories you posted about it when it first came out, Pokemon is for the girls and the gays.
It's true. It really is.
Yeah. And so, because I know so many gays who are playing it. Like,
the reality is that the Pokemon community is riddled with homosexuals, I being one of them.
Riddled.
And it's only because the game is so obviously inclusive, even though it's having to play its hand a little bit under the table, because I think in order to get it an E for everyone rating, which I believe this game has, you can't have like overtly queer people in it. But you've got Naveen, who I'm going to say is very androgynous. I thought they were a girl originally. Not that it really matters. You've got characters in other games like Grusha, who is a disabled character first and foremost, but looks exactly like a girl. They just aren't. Like, I think the gender non-conforming status of this game is pretty much completely not up for debate.
Okay.
You can dress as anyone. You can be anyone.
Well, it might be up for debate with some people, but
just fuck them.
No, I get what you mean. For me, the make it gayness in this comes from the fact that there is an unspoken queerness to it, right? All of that stuff is just that we spoke about, the gender stuff, the characters, the way they talk and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of there. There's nothing overtly sexual about it or anything like that. There's just people of all different shapes, sizes, skin colors, all that kind of stuff. They don't really mention sexuality, but you can infer.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that there is some queer agenda in this game.
It's being pushed.
Being programmed into your children. Get mad about it on Sky News right now.
I have to also bring to the attention, I have a couple trans friends that have been playing this game. They are obsessed with it because...
the trans community love Pokemon.
Well, it's because you can now, technically speaking, you can transition in the game. You can change everything about yourself. So yes, you can start off as a girl character, which means you get to have the opposite gendered rival who, first of all, Urbane is way cuter than Tawny, no offense. But you can just transition in the game and just look exactly like however you want, which I think is really fantastic.
Yeah. God help that, like, middle America never figures out that these games are so queer.
Okay, not to be rude or anything, but God forbid a game where you catch magical animals and battle and save the world have queer representation in it.
I know.
We have to suspend our disbelief for Pokemon, but we can't have the trans and the gays.
I feel like the queer representation in it is going to goes over most people's heads, though. That's what I'm saying, right?
Well, right. The game acts as though it's completely like there's nothing special about it at all that this queerness is happening. The game just chugs along. This is just how the world operates, which is, I think we've spoken about it a couple of times on the pod, that this is kind of the new way that I think it should be. This is just the reality of the Pokemon world. It's a utopia where they've, as the creator said, they grow food in labs and they eat it there. Everyone is equal. Everyone can be the very best like no one ever was.
To catch them is my real test.
We're going to get lawsuited.
To train them is my art.
There goes any monetization we could have had.
So that was Make It Gay for Pokemon Legends ZA. And that was our just, I mean, look, I feel like there's a lot more we probably could have spoken about. There's a lot going on in this game, but you've probably fallen asleep by now. But
and if you're asleep, rest well.
But there's more to play. And look, whilst I said I might not go back after I finish the main mission, the joy of having the Switch 2 has actually seen me completing more games closer to 100% because I can just toil away at it on the couch whilst my partner's watching TV or cooking dinner or something like that. So who knows? And and it did cost $109.
That was a lot.
So I am trying to get more value out of my full price games. I would say, for me, as someone who is not a big Pokemon fanatic as you are, I would say it's actually worth picking up. I think it's a good, fun time. If you've got a Switch 2, this is definitely the kind of game that the Switch 2 is made for, because you can just jump in and jump out and just do some battling or focus on the story or do some side quests. It's really, really, really perfect for that. Sure, it doesn't look like some amazing AAA kind of thing, but the core gameplay is very entertaining and very addictive. There's some absolute shortcomings to it, but overall, I think it's worth picking up as a new release. Any final thoughts from you?
I'll parrot exactly what you just said, but I'll add on to it. I think this is one of the more definitive Pokemon experiences. It's got everything that you want as a Pokemon fan. It's got fun characters with great designs that are fairly well written for how shallow the game needs to be. You've got a cool plot. You've got fun new Pokemon that you get to Super Saiyan up in their Mega Evolution form. I think the story is concise, to the point, does what it needs to do. It doesn't fuck about. The only time you need to is if you want to. You have the option to fluff about if you so desire. And yeah, I think it just, the level of care that has been put into the Pokemon, when you can go out for like little cafe drinks and they can do cute little poses and you can take cute little photos. I think that's what you go to the game for. It's for the Pokemon. You don't go for the JPEG windows. I hope that Pokemon continues this kind of creative thesis moving forward where the Pokemon are the focal point, because I think that's the main draw of the game. Obviously, graphical fidelity, I would like it. I never expect it from Pokemon, but hopefully Gen 10.
One day.
Gen 10 moving forward, I hope is going to blow our socks off. For now, I think this is a really great turning of the dial in the right direction. I think this is what Pokemon fans want. So I hope they continue it.
Excellent. Well, that's it, everyone. That is Pokemon Legends ZA, the Mitch and Dave bargain bin review.
Not much of a bargain bin for $109, but
I know. So maybe we'll talk about the DLC when it comes out. But until then, we'll be back next week with something. I think it's time for a Let's Yap. I think we're up for a Let's Yap.
Oh yeah, because we didn't do enough of that today.
No, there's a broad Let's Yap required. But until then, I've been Davey.
And I've been Mitch.
And we've been the Bargain Bin Gamers. Yes, we have.
Frickin'